Hey, what's up guys? I'm Rob Richards back here at the Mecca of Bodybuilding, Gold Gym in Venice, California. Thanks for watching. Today I've got 5 killer hamstring exercises for you. So let's get started on exercise number 1. So just like with opposing muscle groups, as with biceps, triceps, hip and chest and back, even though the focus today is just on the hamstrings, I'm still going to warm up my quads, open them up with some stretches, enable those fibers to stretch out. So again, the opposing muscle group in many of the exercises today. So got to make sure I look after them, keep adding some weight on here. Hamstring curl. This is the bench press for chest equivalent to hamstrings. Definitely, probably the standard exercise for hamstring curls. A few different variations, but just to get things moving, to really warm up the muscle, to go heavy early on in the workout, definitely lying hamstring curl. And you'll notice I've got 2 variations. One up with my upper body. Initially I've got my elbows under, lifting my chest up, forcing my hips down into the actual bench, which keeps more tension there on my hamstring. As it gets heavier, I'm going to drop my hands down to the side, flatten out my body, a little bit more effort then on the hamstrings to finish off that set, but less tension if my chest is up. The other thing you'll notice, foot position down here on that foot pad. Initially, my toes are pointing outwards. The heavier it gets, the more I start to fail, I'll pull them in. So this works also the hamstring and the gastrocnemius, part of the calf muscle that actually attaches around the knee and is involved with a lot of the hamstring exercises. So don't forget about that. When you're doing leg exercises, pay attention to the toe position, whether they're pulled in or extended out. And our goal here is to really hit failure about 8 reps. Hamstrings are definitely nice and warmed up now, just as well, because we're going to head outside to the pit area here at Gold and move on to some Olympic bar sumo style deadlifts. I'm not looking forward to this one. Alright, so we're in some wraps. Not something I use too often, but definitely something not too far away. Right, so let's talk about lifting wraps. Are they necessary for lifting big heavy weights? Necessary, no. Do they help? Yes, and here's why. The grip, I'm only able to manage as much weight as I can hold with a closed grip, unless I do a cross grip like this. Great for lifting the heaviest amount of weight I can, but it puts a tremendous amount of torque on stress across the bicep. I'm not a powerlifter. I don't try to be, I don't pretend to be. So I'm going to lift within my comfort zone, pushing it a little bit, overhand grip, keep them slightly narrow. When I reach my point of grip failure, which is about now, I'm going to use my lifting wraps. Arms straight, back straight, all of that movement originates from the hip and the knees. I gotta catch my breath. Let's put another 25 pounds on each end. This one's a real systemic exercise, working the full cardiovascular in pretty much every muscle group. Arms, shoulders, especially the core, the glutes you feel it in, and the hamstrings. Now, difference between a sumo deadlift and your regular old deadlift is really about how you position the hips and that vertical movement. With a deadlift, you're a lot more vertical, down and up. So the back, the glutes and the legs are working. But with the sumo, we're gonna widen our stance. Sometimes people prefer their toes a little bit angled out, pigeon-toed. We'll play around with that as well for different variations and different feelings in the muscle. But with this one, it's not quite as much down and up. We're gonna sit the hips back and down. Let me show you. Imagine you're lifting with a seat. If it were right under you, you're gonna sit down and stand up. But because our legs are further spread apart, we're gonna push the hips back. That imaginary seat, if you like, is that much further back. The glutes will just touch down and then pop back up. So it's that movement. If you're unfamiliar with this, actually put a bench or a box or some kind of seat behind you and just practice touching your glutes down, pushing the hips back, slightly bending at the knee, and then it's the hamstring primarily having to contract and shorten to lift you back up. Let's set this up and move on to exercise number 3. All right, so stiff-legged deadlift. As the name suggests, they're not quite a deadlift. Well, they are, but stiff-legged. What I mean by that is your legs aren't perfectly stiff and you're just bending down like this. You do have a slight bend in your knee, but you're not bending the knee more as you lower that bar down. So basically you stand up straight, push the hips back a little bit, what I like to call the duck squat, chest up, hips back a little bit, tension on the hamstrings, and then with that bar, just to allow it to travel down your thighs, a little bit below the knee, you feel that stretch, the tension in the hamstring. Feel it, pause, and then contract and pull that bar back up. It's easy to go too heavy on this and start to try and lift the bar up, bending the knees, but that takes tension off of the actual hamstring muscle from working. So don't go too heavy, gradually build up to a good weight. Focus on maybe 8 to 10 reps, slow, controlled, and without bending the knees much than that initial first bend. When it comes to hamstrings, you really need to think about anatomical makeup of the hamstring muscle, how it works, how it's activated, and a great exercise that we don't really do much in the gym, or at least I don't see many people do, is this sort of a single leg hip thrust. Basically, your heels are up on a platform, whether it's a bench, huge tire like this, a jump box. Raise your other leg up, lifting your knee up so that your heel is in line with the top of your knee that's bent, the foot is actually touching on that platform, and then contracting that hamstring, you're lifting your hips up as high as you can. Basically, you want to create a straight line from your back, your glutes, and along that hamstring whose foot is touching down. So you'll see in this exercise, my goal here, a little bit harder because this tire is quite steep. On a bench, it might be a little bit easier, but we don't want it easy. We want to push the hamstring. You want to extend the hips all the way up, contract that hamstring, and keep the other leg bent up in the air. 10, 12 reps here. If you can comfortably achieve 12 reps, try holding a small plate just across your hips. 10 pound, 25 pound, and continue 10, 12 reps. Hamstrings are feeling really works. I've hit them from 3 or 4 big different movements. Now we're gonna finish off the hamstring workout with an isolated machine type movement. We do a seated hamstring curl really focus on that full range of motion and getting the most out of contracting that peak hamstring right at the end of that movement. Let's head back inside.
The rhyme and the rhythm. 1, 2, I pump it up. 2, to the beat. Yeah. Down, you don't stop. Watch us rock the place. The rhyme and the rhythm. 1, 2, I pump it up.
I sit a hamstring curl. Another great exercise that allows us to keep tension firmly on that hamstring throughout the entire range of motion. Just like the first exercise with the lying hamstring curl, we don't want to be hitting the weights down by going through that movement too fast. So slow it down, control, and really feel that muscle having to work and contract when your heel is as far down as you can go. 12 reps on here, final 2 or 3 sets of the entire workout. So the last set, we'll do a drop set, we'll go heavy, drop it down until we are done. Okay, we're locking it in tight. Toes, we're gonna keep pulled up. There's more tension in the hamstrings on this. I'm gripping the bar and I'm gonna lean forwards again, straightening my back, more tension on the hamstrings. We are done, that wraps up today's pretty intense hamstring workout. All right, just to summarize. So we started off on the lying hamstring curl, then we moved on, did some sumo style deadlifts. From there, stiff legged deadlifts. Then we came outside, focused more on that single leg hip bridge. And finally, as you've just seen, finished off on some seated hamstring curl. Appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel. I've got new videos coming practically every week, both in the kitchen, in the gym, and out on location around here, Los Angeles, California. If you found this video useful, let me know. Hit like, share, comment. We do skim through all of the comments, take on board your suggestions and try and include them in future videos. And also don't forget to check out my Facebook, Rob Richards Fitness, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm live, coming at you real time here at Gold Gym in the kitchen. And again, just answering your questions on fitness, nutrition, and training. Bye guys, hope you have a great week ahead. Stay motivated, keep learning, keep putting it to good use in and out of the gym. I'll see you back here on YouTube next week. We'll be hitting another master group, breaking down the top 5 exercises for that master group. All right guys, take care.